Key point 1. The intersection of choice and chance. In their pursuit of control over life's outcomes, many often overlook a fundamental truth. The intertwining of choice and chance shapes our existence. Life is not a chessboard where every move is calculative and every outcome predictable. Instead, it's a dynamic poker game where luck and skill merge to carve our paths. While we invest time in planning our careers, health, financial stability, parenting methods, and relationships, these aspects often depend on elements beyond our control. Just as a poker player makes strategic moves without knowing the next card, we also make choices without a complete grasp of the future. Embrace uncertainty in decision-making. This understanding is crucial. To enhance the quality of our lives, we must acknowledge the dual role of decision-making and luck. Accepting uncertainty and the unpredictable nature of life is not a sign of weakness, but a realistic and empowering approach. By doing so, we prepare ourselves for varied outcomes, reducing the shock of the unexpected and appreciating the joy of surprise victories. Our journey in life is not a straight path, but a winding road filled with unknowns. Recognizing that even the most calculated decisions can lead to unforeseen results is the first step toward embracing life's inherent unpredictability. It teaches us to be adaptable, resilient, and open to the twists and turns of fate. Here, we'll examine the nuances of making decisions in an uncertain world, like placing bets in a poker game. The goal is to develop a mindset that not only accepts but thrives in the face of life's uncertainties. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together, learning to navigate life's unpredictable tides with confidence and wisdom. Key point 2. Understanding life's bets. Life's journey is a series of bets, where each decision is a gamble on the future. According to Annie Duke, every decision is a gamble, whether it's accepting a job or choosing dinner. When we decide, we effectively bet on a particular outcome. For instance, choosing a career path is a gamble regarding our future success and happiness. Every decision carries with it opportunity costs, the roads not taken. Opting to invest in stocks, or conversely deciding against it, is not just a financial choice, but a speculation on future market behaviors. Similarly, parenting decisions reflect the future that parents envision for their children. Whether disciplining, educating, or nurturing, every choice is a wager on the child's happiness and success. Understanding this concept reshapes our perspective on decision-making. This approach empowers us to make more informed choices, recognizing the stakes involved in our everyday lives. In this light, even the act of not choosing is a choice. Ignoring an opportunity or staying in a comfort zone is a bet on the status quo being more beneficial than any change. Having this insight adds new dimensions to understanding our actions and their consequences. Balance logic and intuition when making decisions. Consider whether to accept a new job offer or stay in a current position. This choice isn't merely about comparing two jobs, but betting on which path will lead to a more fulfilling future. Each option carries the hope that what you gain will outweigh what you're giving up, be it in terms of happiness, success, or personal satisfaction. The uncertainty of these choices is a fundamental part of the decision-making process. You can never be sure whether a new job will be better or a business venture will succeed. You make these choices with limited information, trying your best to predict the future based on what you know and what you don't. Like poker players, you must learn to be comfortable with this inherent uncertainty, recognizing it as an integral part of every decision. Key point 3. The bias of belief. People's perception of the world is significantly influenced by their beliefs, forming a lens through which they interpret information and events. You can see a compelling example in sports. Fans' opinions on a referee's decision vary drastically based on their team allegiance. This scenario illustrates how their beliefs shape their interpretation of events. Once beliefs become ingrained in our minds, they create a confirmation bias. which leads us to seek and acknowledge only the information that supports these beliefs. We unconsciously disregard or challenge information that contradicts our viewpoints. This phenomenon, known as motivated reasoning, highlights the irrationality in our information processing patterns. It's a cycle where existing beliefs influence our interpretation of new information, reinforcing those beliefs. Interestingly, intelligence can aggravate this bias. The more competent individuals are, the more skilled they are at constructing narratives and rationalizations that align with their beliefs, while manipulating data to fit their perspectives. Higher intelligence doesn't necessarily equate to more objective reasoning, but can sometimes lead to more sophisticated justifications for biased views. The formation of our beliefs often relies on an unverified acceptance of information. Contrary to the idea that we analyze information before accepting it as true, we often believe information first and then critically evaluate it later. This evolutionary trait is wired into our psychology and makes us readily take what we hear without immediate scrutiny. Clarity comes from questioning, not just accepting. By understanding the influence of our beliefs on our perception, we can strive to approach information more objectively and critically. This awareness is crucial for making more informed decisions and avoiding the pitfalls of biased reasoning. The key to better decision-making and perception lies in actively challenging and reassessing our beliefs. This approach not only enhances our ability to process information more effectively, but also leads to a more nuanced and comprehensive understanding of the complexities of life. There is no sin in finding out there is evidence that contradicts what we believe. Annie Duke. Key point 4. Express your belief in your confidence levels. In pursuing truth and knowledge, how we handle our beliefs plays a crucial role. Imagine confidently asserting that the classic movie Citizen Kane won the Best Picture Oscar, only to be challenged by a friend who disagrees. The proposal of a bet of, say, $1,000 suddenly introduces doubt. This scenario illustrates the importance of reassessing our certainties. A belief rooted in a great deal of conviction can be misleading. When challenged to bet on these beliefs, we must reconsider the basis of our knowledge. Questions about the source of this information and its quality become essential. This scrutiny transforms a belief from a binary right or wrong stance to a matter of confidence level. For instance, instead of stating that Citizen Kane won the Oscar for Best Picture, someone might say they are 60% confident it is true. This approach acknowledges that there's a 40% chance of being incorrect, fostering a mindset open to new information and differing perspectives. This uncertainty is not a weakness but a strength, allowing for a more objective and balanced view of information, especially when it contradicts our beliefs. Recognize the difference between facts and opinions. Such an attitude also enhances communication credibility. When an individual says they are 80% certain that their flight will be late, it reflects a thoughtful consideration of available information, increasing the likelihood of being believed. This openness to uncertainty moves us closer to objective decision-making, seeing contrary evidence as additional information rather than a challenge to our ego or intellect. Betting on beliefs brings a nuanced understanding of knowledge and certainty. It encourages us to evaluate the quality of our information sources and the level of trust we place in them. By accepting and declaring our uncertainties, we become more credible communicators and open-minded individuals, capable of adapting our views in the face of new evidence. Certainty is often an illusion. It's a reminder that our knowledge is constantly evolving, and our beliefs should be flexible enough to accommodate this constant change. By betting on our thoughts, we learn to navigate the complex world of information with a more discerning and open mind. Key point 5. The path to better decisions. Skill and luck play significant roles in our lives, through the lens of various activities like golf. This concept illustrates how outcomes are often a mix of our abilities and factors beyond our control. For instance, a golfer exercises skill in choosing the right club and executing the perfect swing. However, elements of luck, like an unexpected gust of wind or a distracting noise, can greatly influence where the ball lands. The interplay of skill and luck isn't limited to sports. It permeates every decision and action we undertake. While we have complete control over the skill aspect, luck remains unpredictable. This duality becomes more complex by introducing a psychological phenomenon known as the self-serving bias. This bias leads us to attribute our successes to skill and failures to luck. It's a defense mechanism, protecting our ego from the sting of defeat or error. Recognize and balance skills and luck in life's outcomes for fairer self-assessment. Interestingly, this bias extends beyond self-perception. It affects how we view others' successes and failures. For example, we are quick to attribute others' successes to luck and our failures to a lack of skill, reinforcing our sense of superiority. But true contentment should stem from our experiences and achievements, irrespective of how others do. When something goes well, it's important to recognize what we did right and where we can still improve. If the outcome is unfavorable, rather than hastily attributing it to bad luck, we should evaluate our decisions and identify areas for improvement. This approach fosters a mindset of continuous learning and growth. This principle extends beyond self-evaluation to our judgment of others. When someone achieves a positive outcome, rather than dismissing it as mere luck, we should consider the quality of their decisions and their effort. Conversely, when others face setbacks, it's unfair to attribute it to incompetence immediately. Instead, understanding that competent choices can lead to poor outcomes due to unlucky circumstances can provide a more balanced and empathetic view. Key point 6. Harnessing today for a better tomorrow. Understanding the concept of temporal discounting is crucial in shaping our life's trajectory. This phenomenon, deeply rooted in human behavior, describes our tendency to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits. It's the reason people often choose short-term pleasures, like binge-watching TV late into the night, at the expense of their well-being the next day. This inclination also manifests in how they manage resources, such as spending money impulsively rather than saving for retirement. Our minds are wired to value present comfort and satisfaction, often neglecting the implications for our future selves. This disconnect from our future versions leads to choices that may feel right in the moment, but can result in long-term regrets. The key to overcoming this bias lies in developing a conscious connection with our future selves and fostering mindful decision-making habits. One effective strategy to counteract temporal discounting is the use of pre-decision regret. Typically, we view regret as a negative, unproductive emotion because it arises after an event, leaving us powerless to alter the past. However, it transforms into a powerful tool by shifting regret to the forefront of our decision-making process. Before making a choice, consider the potential regret from the perspective of your future self. Envision how your future self would feel about your decisions today. For example, consider the regret you might feel years from now for not setting up a retirement plan due to extravagant spending. This approach not only aids in making more prudent decisions, but also prepares us for potential adverse outcomes, fostering self-compassion. By anticipating and accepting possible regrets, we can treat ourselves more kindly when things don't go as planned. So think ahead and make choices for which your future self will thank you. Don't let fear of failure prevent decisive action. It's equally relevant in everyday scenarios, like choosing to eat healthily or exercising regularly. By consistently considering how our actions impact our future, we build a life that's not just about surviving the present, but thriving in the long run. This shift in perspective from immediate gratification to long-term well-being paves the way for a more fulfilling and balanced life. Did you know? When faced with too many choices, like numerous types of tea in a store, our decision-making can suffer, and we might even become paralyzed by the abundance of options. Key point 7. How to overcome temporal discounting. A 10-10-10 technique encourages you to ponder the consequences of your choices over different timeframes. 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Such reflection fosters a sense of accountability for future outcomes, guiding you away from decisions that might lead to regret. By considering their actions' immediate and long-term impacts, you can gain a clearer perspective on how your choices shape your future. Along with this, backcasting offers a strategic tool for goal achievement. It involves envisioning the joyful moment of reaching a desired outcome, and then methodically retracing the steps needed. This reverse engineering of success not only clarifies the path forward, but also instills a sense of purpose and direction in pursuing personal goals. On the flip side, the concept of a premortem involves imagining a scenario where goals are unmet and things have gone awry. By asking, what went wrong? You can anticipate potential pitfalls and devise strategies to avoid or mitigate them. This approach prepares you for adverse scenarios, ensuring you are not caught off guard by unforeseen challenges. These decision-making tools have many practical applications in everyday life. For instance, a young entrepreneur might use the 10-10-10 method to decide whether to invest in a risky venture, considering the short-term financial strain against the potential long-term gains. Similarly, an aspiring author could employ backcasting to map out the steps necessary to complete and publish their book, envisioning the joy of holding the finished product in their hands. Anticipate tomorrow's challenges today for a clearer path to success. Ultimately, these strategies provide a framework for building a future vision that is more realistic and achievable. By contemplating both positive and negative outcomes, you can craft a balanced and comprehensive approach to goal setting and decision-making. This holistic view fosters a deeper understanding of the potential consequences of your actions, paving the way for more informed, deliberate, and successful choices. Bringing our future self into the decision gets us started thinking about the future consequences of those in-the-moment decisions. Annie Duke. Conclusion. Like in a poker game, certainty is a luxury we rarely have. Every decision we make is a bet, a choice made under uncertainty. Recognizing this is the first step toward improving our decision-making skills. By adopting a mindset that views decisions as bets, we can effectively challenge our biases, reassess our beliefs, and approach life more openly. This perspective allows us to move beyond the rigid dichotomy of right and wrong, welcoming the shades of gray that color most of our choices. It leads to better decision-making, fostering an environment where achieving our goals becomes more feasible. To improve your decision-making skills, you also need to remember that your choices exclude alternative options and directly affect your future. What would you like to achieve in 10 months or 10 years? What should you do for this trait? And what suggestions should you ignore? It is also essential to recognize the moments when you were lucky enough to achieve what you wanted and the heights that resulted from your skills. To excel at making decisions, you must accept uncertainty as a constant companion and find comfort at times of ambiguity, knowing that not having all the answers is totally normal. Be honest with yourself, bet high, and take risks when it's worth it. Good luck. Try this. When outcomes don't go as planned, resist attributing the results solely to luck. Reflect on the decisions that led to these outcomes. Analyze successful outcomes to identify what was done well and areas for improvement. Use these reflections to learn and make more informed decisions in the future.